The sun hangs high and unforgiving over the East African Rift Valley. It is the lower Paleolithic, approximately 1.5 million years ago. To the untrained eye, this sprawling savanna appears timeless, a golden ocean of grass punctuated by acacia and heat haze. But this is a deception. We are observing a battlefield in its rawest form, a landscape where caloric energy is the only currency that matters, and the penalty for bankruptcy is death. Here, the hierarchy of life is written in violence. At the center of the valley, the air is thick with the copper tang of blood and the buzzing of flies. A kill has been made. The victim is a juvenile Dinotherium, a colossal relative of modern elephants, now reduced to a carcass in the dust. Standing over this prize is the reigning monarch of this scavenging ecosystem, Pachycrocuta brevirostris, the giant short-faced hyena. We often think of hyenas as skittish opportunists, but Pachycrocuta is a nightmare of biological engineering. Weighing over 110 kilograms, the size of a modern lioness, it possesses a skull built for devastation. When we analyze the biomechanics of its jaw, we find a bite force capable of shattering the femur of a rhino. It is not here to nibble. It is here to pulverize bone and extract the marrow within. In this arena, it should have no natural enemies capable of driving it away. But the wind shifts, carrying a scent that disturbs the giant hyena. Emerging from the tall grass, moving with a strange, upright gait, is a troop of Homo erectus. They appear pitifully under-equipped for this confrontation. They lack the slashing claws of the big cats or the crushing dentition of the hyena. Their skin is exposed, lacking fur, vulnerable to the sun and the teeth of predators. Yet, these upright men possess two weapons that evolution has never seen combined in such potency: social coordination and the mastery of stone. If we look closely at the hands of the lead male, we see it: a dark, glassy teardrop of volcanic rock, obsidian. This is not a random stone picked up from the riverbed. It is a manufactured object, the result of the Acheulean industry. Through the deliberate application of kinetic energy, striking a chord to produce a conchoidal fracture, this hominid has created an edge sharper than any surgical steel we possess today. The Homo erectus troop does not rush. They fan out, communicating with guttural vocalizations and hand signals. They are not hunting the elephant, they are hunting the opportunity. This is confrontational scavenging. They intend to steal the kill from a predator twice their size. The Pachycrocuta lowers its head, issuing a low, vibrating growl that rumbles in the chest. It snaps its jaws, a sound like a gunshot, warning the intruders that to approach is suicide. The hominids hold their ground. They raise their obsidian hand axes, catching the harsh sunlight. In this moment, the savanna holds its breath. We are witnessing a pivot point in history, the moment biology is challenged by technology. The arena is set, and the first war for the edge is about to begin.
The standoff explodes not with a physical blow, but with a cacophony of sound. The Homo erectus troop, acting with a hive mind synchronization, rushes forward. They do not attack the Pachycrocuta directly. That would be suicidal. Instead, they assault its senses. They scream, wave their arms, and hurl stones with a precision no other primate can match. This is mobbing behavior evolved into an art form. The giant hyena, accustomed to the predictable fight or flight responses of herbivores or the territorial roars of lions, is momentarily disoriented by this chaotic bipedal aggression. For a heartbeat, the predator flinches. It steps back, yielding the carcass. This is the window. It will likely last less than 5 minutes. Two males rush the Dinotherium, while the remaining members of the troop form a defensive perimeter, facing outward, stones in hand, eyes locked on the circling hyena. The butchers drop to their knees beside the massive gray flank of the fallen beast. Here, we witness the true power of the lower Paleolithic revolution. In the hands of the lead male is the tool that defines this era, the Acheulean Hand Axe. To the uninitiated, it looks like a crude teardrop of black stone. But as he brings it down, we see the physics of the Odyssey of the Edge in action. The stone is obsidian. When the Homo erectus napper struck the core to create this tool, they utilized the principle of the conchoidal fracture. Unlike crystalline rocks that crumble, obsidian, volcanic glass, breaks in a smooth, curved wave. This fracture creates a cutting edge that tapers down to a molecular level. While a modern steel surgical scalpel might have a rough edge when viewed under a microscope, a fresh obsidian flake is smooth even at high magnification. Its edge can be as thin as 30 angstroms, almost 1 molecule thick. The Dinotherium's hide is a formidable armor, tough, leathery, and inches thick. A lion's carnassial teeth would struggle to pierce it quickly. They would need to gnaw and tear, wasting precious time. But the Acheulean Hand Axe is not a tooth. It is a guillotine. With a forceful sawing motion, the Homo erectus male drives the black glass into the gray skin. The obsidian parts the dermis with terrifying ease. There is no friction, only separation. The skin falls open, revealing the steaming red muscle beneath. This is the scavenger's edge. It allows these hominids to bypass the hide, the natural packaging that keeps the meat safe from lesser scavengers, and access the prize before the rightful owner recovers its nerve. But this is precision work performed under the threat of imminent death. The Pachycrocuta has recovered from its initial shock. It realizes these hairless apes are small. It smells the blood being spilled, its prize being dismantled. The giant hyena lunges, a blur of muscle and bone-crushing intent. The defensive line of the troop reacts instantly. A hail of fist-sized rocks meets the hyena. One strikes the predator's snout, a sensitive cluster of nerves. The beast yelps and swerves, snapping its jaws in frustration. The hominids are using ranged warfare, action at a distance, a concept that effectively extends their reach beyond the physical limits of their limbs. Back at the carcass, the butchery accelerates into a frenzy. The goal is not to eat here. That is too dangerous. The goal is extraction. The butchers target the heavy limb bones. They use the blunt, heavy butt of the hand axes to hammer through the connective tissue and tendons. They are dissecting the animal with an anatomical knowledge born of hunger. Sweat pours down their faces. This, too, is a weapon. Homo erectus is the champion of thermoregulation. While the hyena begins to pant, overheating in the midday sun, the hominids are cooling efficiently through perspiration. They can work harder, faster, and longer in the heat than any carnivore. A sickening crack echoes as the hand axe severs the final tendon of a massive leg joint. They have liberated a haunch of meat, but the real prize, the gold of the Pleistocene, is the femur itself. Inside that calcified shaft lies the marrow, pure, concentrated fat. It is the most energy-dense substance in the savanna. The hyena is losing patience. It is joined by a second Pachycrocuta, drawn by the commotion. The odds have shifted catastrophically. The defensive line wavers. The hominids scream louder, baring their flat, herbivore-like teeth in a mimicry of aggression, but they know they cannot hold off two giants. The butchers signal. They have what they came for. They grab the severed chunks of meat and the heavy, marrow-filled bones. They are not built for a sprint, but they are built for efficient carrying. They hoist the prizes onto their shoulders. The troop coalesces, moving from a static defensive circle back into a mobile unit. They retreat, not in a panic, but in a tight formation, keeping their eyes on the predators. The hyenas rush the carcass.
They retreat, not in a panic, but in a tight formation, keeping their eyes on the predators. The hyenas rush the carcass immediately, reclaiming their kill. They do not pursue. Why risk injury chasing a dangerous rock-throwing ape when there are still tons of elephant meat left? The confrontation ends as quickly as it began. The dust settles. The Homo erectus troop has vanished into the shimmering heat haze, taking with them thousands of calories stolen from the jaws of the apex predator. They have survived the clash, but the war for survival continues. They have the meat, but they still need to unlock the bone. Miles away from the kill site, under the dappled shade of a solitary acacia, the adrenaline of the heist begins to fade. The troop is safe. The Pachycrocuta, the terrifying giant, is now just a distant memory, a hazard negotiated and survived. Now the real work of evolution begins. The troop gathers around the prize, the massive calcified femurs of the Dinotherium. To any other creature without crushing jaws, these bones are useless stones, but Homo erectus sees them as vaults. A female positions a heavy femur on a flat anvil stone.
Safe.
She raises a fist-sized hammerstone, a dense river rock chosen for its weight and hardness. She strikes.
Crack. It is a sound that defines the human story as much as the spoken word. The blow is precise, targeting the weak point of the structural integrity. The bone splits longitudinally, exposing the interior. Inside lies the marrow. It is white, fatty, and rich. In the caloric economy of the Pleistocene, this is gold. A single serving of this high-fat substance provides more energy than pounds of raw, fibrous venison. It is the butter of the savanna. As the troop feasts, scraping the marrow out with small obsidian flakes, we are witnessing the fuel injection that will drive the most expensive engine in nature, the human brain.
Comparison
the brain
the
is a
energy
greedy
density
organ.
of the marrow.
In modern humans, it consumes 20% of our resting energy, while taking up only 2% of our body mass. For Homo erectus, this expansion is just beginning. This high-quality diet, stolen from the jaws of apex predators, breaks the energy ceiling. It allows the gut to shrink. We no longer need the massive digestive tracts of herbivores to process grass, and shunts that saved energy directly to the brain. It is a positive feedback loop of extraordinary power. The stone tool allows access to marrow. The marrow fuels a larger, more complex brain. The complex brain visualizes better, sharper tools and more sophisticated social strategies. The Pachycrocuta remains a biological machine, limited by the bite force written in its DNA. It cannot upgrade its jaw. But the hominid? The hominid has externalized its evolution. The Acheulean Hand Axe is a detachable claw. The hammerstone is a detachable jaw. When the tool breaks, they make a new one. When the idea improves, the tool improves. As the sun sets over the Rift Valley, the troop sleeps with full belly. The hand axe lies in the dust beside the sleeping leader. It is a crude object, black and jagged. But in its reflection, we see the future. This piece of volcanic glass has severed the link between anatomy and destiny. Homo erectus is no longer just an animal struggling to survive in the ecosystem. They are beginning to shape it. They have seized the edge, and they will never give it back.